Oh, Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and
It's all about the entertainment,
so I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it.
Look at Johnson! They haven't got it! He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello everybody and welcome to the iGPFun F3 League. Here, the start of a new season here in 2023, the final season of this year, and we're kicking things off at no better at racetracks. Spa-Francorchamps, the location for the opening round of the new season. My name is Ewan Leary, alongside James Parfitt here for the first round of the championship, and we're very much looking forward to being back for another 12 weeks and another great edition of this championship that, of course, was won last season by Kenzie Newhoff. He returns along with many of the other contenders who were up and around last season as well. Welcome one and all, good to have you with us watching on here this evening. It's good to be back once again, James, and there are a few better places to start a season than here at Spa.
Yeah, definitely. I think last season was really exciting. I think Kenzie Newhoff went out and he absolutely did an amazing job. You know, we can't forget, obviously, Conor Gibb, who took the rookie championship, Reno Scattini, who took the 2.5K. Then the overall teams was won by No Limit Sim Racing with Conor Gibb and Christian Glamseater. 2.5K was Modern Racing Prince with No Limit Sim Racing Academy. You know, there was a lot of championships up for grabs, and at the end of the day, these guys did an amazing job. I think for Kenzie Newhoff, coming back, having a go at defending it, I think should be interesting to see how it gets on as well. I see Luca Varani's back on as well, so much love to Luca for joining us once more. Max Bartolotta is back. As we said just before we come on air, I'd love to see Max Bartolotta be here for the season. I think he would be a main title challenger, and definitely, I think, overall would be a great addition if he could be here for every single week, but as we know, doesn't always make it. So it's going to be an interesting season. It'd be good to see some of these past, you know, these champions, to see whether or not they're going to be able to defend their crown. Conor Gibb has obviously gone up. He's not in the 2.5K this season. He's now 3.6, so I'm guessing he'll be joining for the overalls, Ewan. But Spa, well, Spa just is, it just, as soon as you mention Spa, it just tells it for itself. Everyone knows Spa.
Yeah, and that, I guess, part of the way to describing why we've got or will have good attendance here this evening. And not that we don't normally, but yes, it's going to be a huge grid once again. I can see nearly 50 in qualifying at the moment, which is still ongoing, of course. No championship standings to show you. It is the first round of the season, but I can tell you about those drivers who are here, who were up there in last season's championship. Kenzie Newhoff, of course, the champion, is back again. He's currently third in this qualifying session. Conor Gibb was run up to him, currently down in 11th in this opening session. Christian Glamseater was third last season. He's 12th, just behind Gibb, as they couldn't be separated throughout a lot of last season. That seems to have remained the case over the course of this qualifying session as well. Andy Flint was in 4th. He's 7th in this qualifying session. I think he's making his way around for one last attempt, if there is time. And Antonio Jimenez is back again as well. He's 8th and was 5th last season in the championship. So all of the top 5 are returning once again for another season, and that is good to see. Further down, it then gets a little bit more difficult and whatever, but yes, it's good to see that the main contenders from last season are back again. But it's a very different look to the front of last season's championship compared to the one before. Now that we've done 2 of these championships, season 2 of 2023 had some very different names on the board. Kenzie Newhoff was there, of course, but no Lee Aberdeen returning once again. Unfortunately, he's not here. Jesper Sandström as well is not here this evening. He does a race here and there, but in recent times hasn't been doing whole seasons. So you know, it's a very different look to the front of this championship, and I think that Kenzie Newhoff has to be the favourite to retain his title, in all honesty, but purely because, or partly because, Max Bartolotta at the moment, at least in the last couple of seasons, hasn't been here for all the rounds, and that's difficult to build a title charge when you are here so infrequently.
Yeah, I think that's it, to be honest. And I think sometimes we're going to have to look at the fact and see, you know, Lee Aberdeen, Kevin Zwemstra isn't here by what I can see at the moment, unless I'm looking at something completely different, which I don't think I am. You know, I would love to sit here and say Kenzie here could do the job, right? And I'd love to know, and I'd love to be able to tell everyone that. But there's just people around him, Nicholas Westman, Greg Seitz, Max Bartolotta. If they're regularly here, Kenzie's going to have his hands full. And as a champion, he's going to have a big old target on his back now, because people are going to want to go out and they're going to want to beat him, and they're going to want to finish ahead of the champion, you know. And that's the thing that they've got to be trying to look out for, is how they all get on. And I think it's going to be amazing racing. I don't, to be honest, I don't ever come into this series thinking it's not going to be. But you know, 49 cars on the grid, which is probably about an average for a season for this league, because they normally do end up with that anyway. really, in hindsight, at the moment, first race of the season, there's anyone down to 13th, for instance, with Luca Verani, who could possibly be in with a shout of winning.
It's all going to be very close, and that's very impressive considering the length of circuit that you have around here. As Kenzie Newhoff, wow, right at the very end, just as we were watching, we don't normally see big changes at the end of these sessions, but he's left it very late. Time has actually expired, but Kenzie Newhoff has put in a lap that is good enough for pole by very small margins, and then Max Bartolotta jumps over him at the end as well. Just 3 thousandths between them at the end of the session. We really don't see changes like that after half an hour's driving around here, but maybe the length of circuit, the lack of opportunities you get in this circuit because of the length, maybe that's just giving us a little bit of excitement towards the end. We don't see that very often. 2 changes for the pole position after time had expired here in qualifying.
Yeah, and we'll see what Greg Six is going to be able to do. Can he pull in them 3 thousandths of a second? Is he going to be able to get it? No, I don't think he did. So no real improvements. Jerome Lamy's here as well, which is great to see. He's down in 16th at the moment. On his way round Paul Ferrer. Robert Ridgway's also still out on track as well. I got a funny feeling the last person that crossed the line is as Jerome Lamy goes and put it into the wall. Is this round Robert Ridgway? I think, if I'm not mistaken, everybody else was a little bit after that.
I think Ridgway is, well, that's suggesting that he's on an outlap at the moment, so he won't be able to improve. Luca Verani might be able to here. He's got a couple of personal best sectors. Don't think it's going to be enough for pole by any means, but he might well be able to.
Nope.
Well, that's awkward, wasn't it? That was very awkward. Was there someone in the way there, maybe? I'm not entirely sure.
There was.
Yes. He pulls to the side of the road and won't be very pleased about that. There don't seem to be any other personal best sectors around, so that should be the order for qualifying, you'd imagine, here. But Verani will be disappointed about that because he did look like he was improving. He might have been on for a top 10 as well, but interrupted at the end, and that will receive a penalty if the stewards judge that driver to be unfairly impeding Luca Verani, and from that camera shot, it did look like it.
And probably a bad idea considering Luca's the owner of the league as well. So maybe not a great idea. Ramax is in YouTube. Oh, hi. Hi. Hope you're well. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody welcome in. If you are here, say hi. We do say hi. We do have wonderful dialogue sometimes with YouTube chat as well. So you can get yourself, come and say hi and we can have a chat here once more. I think that Spa, nearly 50 cars. Good job, the purple zone's all the way up through El Region Radio.
Yes, that is going to be enforced again, so don't fear about everybody having a big smash in George Turn 1. It's going to happen in George Turn 4 instead. No, I'm joking.
Are you though? Are you though, really?
No, yeah, I am, yes. I really don't think there is going to be one. It's going to be a big pinch point, though, when we get down towards Lecombe. And we see what happens there. But let's run through the grid. It's a very big one to get through, so we'll try and do it before this race kicks off. Max Bartolotta with that late lap getting pole position ahead of Kenzie Newhoff. Greg Sykes was not far away at all in third. He'll be alongside Nicholas Vestman in fourth. Leonard Sherry and Will McIntyre Jones will share row 3 ahead of Andy Flint, Pedro Suarez. Tony Jimenez and Lucas Marek will round out the top 10. Conor Gibb and Christian Glamseater are on row 6 ahead of Luca Verani. League owner is with Shaq Willems. Then it's Timo Brown and Jerome Lamy. Robert Ridgway and Chuck Morrow round up an All-American row 9. Then Louis Gregg and Koji Ito round out the top 20. Evan Way and Adam Townsber are on row 11 ahead of Manuel Vargas and Stephen Ridders, who was improving towards the end there but couldn't string the lap together. Then we've got Clark Williams and Stuart Milne. Edward Amos and Nick Carty are on row 14. Have Marcis Putniks and Zoltan Zamota inside the top 30. Vasap Potapenko just misses out there ahead of Rino Scattini. Ivan Zaranau is alongside Ben Goyette. Then we've got Alex Hopkins and Garrett Spence in the next position. Paulo Brem and Jose Arroyo are on the next row ahead of Matthew Gracie and Marcelo Kessler. Then it's John McKenzie and Giovanni Solito in 42nd. Matt Brewer and Dorian Arroyo are on 43rd and 44th. Maximilian Gerbhardt and Alexander Petras are on row 23 ahead of Samuel Marr and Simon Fessi in 48th, and that will just about do it. Not showing up on the grid for whatever reason is Patrick Rowlands, who didn't set a lap there. And so doesn't set up on our grid, but he should be joining at the back on his own row at the back to make it 49, and I think he has gridded up and he will be ready to go.
Can the back even see? No, they can't. Okay, sorry, carry on.
No, but they will have the lights come up for them now, and a new season of the iGPFun F3 League is set to get underway. It's Max Bartolotta from the pole who gets us off to a clean start. No overtaking in towards turn one, of course, no active overtaking anyway, and so Bartolotta is going to be able to hold on to his lead through the first turn. It's strict out single file with Kenzie Newhoff in second place, then Greg Seitz and Nicholas Vetzman, the top four, staying the same as they were in qualifying. But how is that going to change on the way down towards Le Combe? They're absolutely flat out over the top of the hill at Radion, and they are now racing, but there's going to be little opportunity until they get to the braking zone at the top of the hill here. And Bartolotta knows that. He pulls to the inside already, trying to defend from Newhoff just in behind, and single file it will be in the opening lap of 2022. A new season underway, round one at Spa, and Max Bartolotta has converted his pole position into an early race lead.
Well, there's going to be an early race ending for some people here as well. I've got a funny feeling there was just complete and utter carnage that went off behind these guys, and it's looking like we've got 3 people involved up at the top of the hill. Somebody's already off, and then Marcelo Kessler goes up in the air as well. Zoltan Zamar, Matthew Gracie, and I've got a funny feeling that somebody, if I can find their name quick enough, was already off at the side of the circuit. It wasn't Dorio Rougeau, it was Jose, I believe, and then there was a few others all involved as well. So we got a little bit chaotic on the first time round at the top of El Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, and that was unlucky for Matthew Gracie, really, who went straight over the back of someone, and he's back to the pit lane now, and will have repairs to complete. In fact, 6 drivers have had to manually tow back to pit lane. Automatically tow back to pit lane, not instead of manually driving around. Others that were caught up, I think Samuel Marr was also caught up, unless he just slowed down to avoid everything, but he's quite far off the back of the pack at the moment. Coming towards the end of the opening lap of the season then. 12 rounds, of course, in the iGPFun F3 League here this season, as it is every season, and it's Max Bartolotta who leads the field after the opening lap here at Spa. Then it's Kenzie Newhoff in second place, Greg Seitz third, Nicholas Vetzman in fourth, Leonard Sherry fifth, in a very similar order to what we had at the end of qualifying as well. Those late laps producing the order that we have right now, and it's staying that way for the moment. Although Newhoff looking threatening, we know how well he races. He gets stronger as the day goes on, and if he's starting the race like this, how is he going to be ending it? Bartolotta already under severe pressure from the reigning champion, who's in behind, looking to get his season off to the dream start. His title defence off to the best possible start. He'll pull to the outside on the way up towards Le Combe. He's got his nose alongside, his nose in front even, but can't go all the way around the outside there. Decides to back out of it rather than trying to stick his nose down the inside for the second part or the third part of Mawardy, who'll stay in second for now.
Yeah, he will stay where he is as he runs down into Ravage now. That looping right-hander that you can almost come back on yourself before they go running off down into No Name. There's been a lot of incidents, guys, but don't have time to go through them all, but there's been a lot of action, including Marcelo Kessler, Alexander Betash as well. So there's a lot of people who had a coming together. Pedro Suarez down here in 8th place at the moment, chasing down Will McIntyre Jones, with Jimenez behind him and Lucas Marek and Christian Glamseater. It's great to see Jacques Willems there, 16th place, doing a job, staying on board here as well. So great job from him. Nick Carty and Ben Gaiotti are also battling further down in the order as well, 27th and 28th. So yeah, there's been a lot of action further down as well, Ewan, and a lot of people who have had to end up in the pits here.
Yep, unfortunately so. We had 6 immediately, and then I think we had another couple more.
Yeah.
How many have we had in the pit lane now? I think 10 in the pit lane so far, 9 or 10. As Maximilian Gerbhardt is off the road in the middle sector, and he's gone back to pit lane now as well, so took up another one on the list. I think that is at 10 or 11 now, as it's side by side between everybody in towards the final couple of corners. That was Will McIntyre-Jones being overtaken by Andy Flint on this lap, and he's looking to stop it from happening more often. Pedro Suarez is now next up, as McIntyre-Jones is slipping and sliding early on in this race.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that he's slipping and sliding already. I'm a little bit shocked by that, to be fair, because he's only 3 laps in. 3 laps at Spa, though, could be, feel like an age somewhere else. I'm going to pick up on what Neuhoff's going to do, because he got a blinding run up through El Rouge. Now onto the Kemmel Straight he goes. He's going to tuck in once behind. You can see how close Bertolotta is to that line as he pulls out to the left-hand side now for Kenzie Neuhoff here, Ewan. And can he make it round Lacombe this time? He just doesn't seem to have the braking stopping power that Bertolotta's got, unfortunately. But now Neuhoff's going to go side by side.
Going for the surprise attack on the way towards Malmedy, and he's got it as well. In towards Rivage, who hold on to first place. So reigning champion Kenzie Neuhoff getting his title defence off to a dream start here in Spa. A bit of a tentative look round the outside through the first part. Thought he just didn't really have the bravery to go for it, but he certainly did, because he tucked in behind and then he jammed it down the inside at the third part of the Lacombe complex at Malmedy, and now he has the lead. A bit of a surprise move, really, because sometimes, and more often than not, in fact, those moves don't come off, but they did for Kenzie Neuhoff on that occasion, and he is now into the lead ahead of Max Bartolotta, and the 2 leaders are getting away from the rest, or they were. Greg Seitz is now involved and in sight in third as he closes on these 2 leaders.
Yeah, they've also got Nicholas Westman, Andy Flint not too far back. The trouble is for Flint, he's leading this second group of cars. It involves Cherry all the way down, basically all the way down to Jacques Willems in 16th. Connor Gibbs having a look in a barnstorming battle. Giovanni Salito, and Jose Ororio have also had, they're nice and close together once more. But Tony Jimenez, as Bartolotta, just send it on Neuhoff.
Wow, that was a dive down the inside at the final chicane. We're setting up for an absolute classic here between Max Bartolotta and Kenzie Neuhoff. They're going side by side again, with Greg Seitz looking to get involved here. Neuhoff looking to squeeze as much as possible into La Source. Make Bartolotta go in narrow. Break late, go wide. And now Neuhoff will have the inside on the way down towards Eau Rouge. This is fantastic racing between the 2 of them. Can Neuhoff get alongside? Not quite. He won't go side by side up the hill here through the fearsome Fury turns at Eau Rouge and Radion. Now they'll go up the hill at the Kemmel Straight. Greg Seitz looking to maybe make it 3 wide. Neuhoff is weaving everywhere. Now he's looking to the outside proper, but here comes Greg Seitz on the outside line with 3 wide for the lead here at Spa. It's Seitz on the very outside, but Neuhoff through the middle. Kenzie Neuhoff is back to the lead in the very same location. He took that position 1 lap ago. He now takes it from Bartolotta again to lead at the end of lap 3.
Yeah, stunning lap there as well from Kenzie Neuhoff there. I'm not going to say Bartolotta come in late at the bus stop, but boy, oh boy, did he come in late as well. And he come from quite far back. So Bartolotta made that move. He went in deep. You saw he didn't completely have the car under control. Put himself in that position then, running into La Source, where he went up through El Rouge and Radion and 3 wide, and Neuhoff comes out on top. It's absolutely stunning battle is what's going on up here at the front at the moment. And also Andy Flint is slowly pulling on a group of people as well. Cherry, Suarez with Jimenez, McIntyre, Jones, Glamsey and Marek. So there's a lot of people coming involved with this group if these front 4 continue to fight, and that's the thing we've got to look out for here. Look at Lucas Marek. He's tucked up as well, trying to have a go at Glamsey. So it's getting all very interesting, and it could be one of probably 12 people that could take this if they can get the draft down, but there's a lot of people being pulled along there.
Yeah, there is, and that's the thing at Spa, really. You can get slipstream fairly easily. To be fair, we didn't see it too much at Monza at the finale of last season, but and we saw the 2 leaders, of course, getting away. We did see a great battle between them, of course, on that day, but they did manage to pull away from the rest. That's not happening right now here at Spa. It's all close together. All gaps less than a second down to Jacques Willems in 16th place right now. There's still less than half a second between 1 and 2 right now as well. As there you see it, the top 16 covered by 7.7 seconds at the moment. One of the closest fields we've seen after 4 laps in this league for at least the few seasons we've been here. It's a very very, very close opening to this race, and an absolute classic so far as well. Kenzie Newhoff's going to have a lot of defending to do though, because Max Bartolotta's in the slipstream again, and his straight line speed seems fantastic. Newhoff was struggling to get alongside, struggling to get through when he was behind, but Max Bartolotta isn't having any such problems. He roars on past in the cable straight, and he's back to the lead again.
Yeah, Pedro Suarez here making a move on Andy Flint, and you saw it in the background. Tony Jimenez has cleared Leonard Cherry, so there's still battles going on throughout this front pack. Suarez and Flint having a nice little tidy one here as well, Ewan. They're not giving up at the moment, but they are battling really, really cleanly. Leonard Cherry, Pedro Suarez and Andy Flint, then Tony Jimenez, Will McIntyre Jones. So there's, as I say, the gap now 6.8, 6.9 down into 14th is absolutely stunning. So it's all the way back here to Jerome Lamy, but they're still opening up now as well. The gap from Andy Flint up to Nicholas Westman is not a lot. It's about half a second, and Suarez to Suarez is about 1.8. So Suarez has been dropped off just a little bit here, but then again he has been fighting with Cherry and Jimenez.
Has, and that will create gaps, as you can see right now, and that's exactly what's happening at the front, to be fair, and now it's happening for 6th place as well. Will McIntyre Jones can't seem to stop losing places at the moment. Now he's down to 9th. It's turning into a bit of a disaster, I'm afraid, for him. He can still recover from this, of course, but it's not a good start for Will McIntyre Jones in a season where he'd like to get it back up towards the top. A couple of seasons ago, of course, he was in contention for the title up until quite close to the finish. It's side by side for that 6th place now between Leonard Cherry and Pedro Suarez, who gives him a very wide berth through the second part there, and gives the room away, gives the place away basically. He'll have another look up the inside on that occasion, but he won't dive in towards the source, he wouldn't imagine, and none of them do. Oh, that was close. He wasn't intending to go down the inside there, but very nearly ended up in the back of him, and thankfully he did not on the way down towards the source on that occasion. I have a feeling though we're about to see another change for the race lead. The two leaders cannot be separated, and that remains to be the case here on lap at number 6. Kenzie Newhoff will go back to the lead. I thought it was Bartolotta's straight line speed that got in the place last lap. Well, it seemingly was just a good exit, because now Newhoff's got one, and now he's got the lead back again.
Yeah, Newhoff and Bartolotta with Greg Seats under attack from Westman, so he needs to be careful as well here. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what happens here, Ewan, but they're opening up a little bit of a gap to Pedro Suarez, so they're going to have to be, Suarez's group needs to either make that move, Cherry needs to get past him, or he's going to lose more time.
Yep, needs to be wary of that. That's a bit wide from Westman there as he tries to get through on Greg Seitz. Can't find his way through for the moment, as there's all sorts of chops and changes going on further back. And Christian Glamsey is off the road and out the race. So drama for the driver who finished in 3rd place in the driver's standings last season. He has gone off the road, and it's down at Bruxelles, or is it No Name Corner. Does he get help here as well? It's at No Name. He doesn't get any help. He just gets into the grass, goes straight on and straight into the wall.
Put him on there. It was just a straight line run after that for Glamsetter. He didn't really have much choice coming for that. Cherry's now desperate to make the move past Suarez here as well. You can see the time extended, and they've gone from having a nice little tidy pocket of battles with 7 or 8 seconds down to 16th. We're now 10. So Leonard Cherry does manage to clear Suarez. Suarez becoming a little bit of a cork in a bottle, but that front 5 at the moment with Andy Flint, Westman, Seats, Bartolotta and Newhoff have opened up a little bit of a gap, so they're going to have to be careful. Dino Braun also battling away here with Jacques Willems. I'm hoping to see Jacques Damac come out and be that animal that we know he can be, so I'm rooting obviously for Jacques Willems as well there. But Will McIntyre Jones has now got Lucas Marek behind him, both team in the Digital Apex team of course. So it's a nice little pockets, little tidy battles going on, but it is really about Newhoff and Bartolotta as they're coming up to back markers.
Yes, lots of back markers around, as you might imagine from the pit stops earlier. How many are still running in this race? Still 42 out there at the moment. Matthew Gracie will be first to lap, but Ivan Zuranow is not too far away from being lapped either. Neither is Zoltans and Motta right now, so they're all going to have to be very careful when they are being lapped, and probably just pull out the way for quite some time, because there's few gaps to find yourself within here at the moment. You can just see on the track map in the top right-hand side of your screen, the what we're talking about there, the green number 1 is Kenzie Newhoff, of course, and he's got 3 lapped cars in front of him. Matthew Gracie gets out the way immediately, and that's exactly what you need to do. Don't try and slot yourself between second and third there, which is a little bit tempting because of that slight gap. Just let the front 5 through and find that little gap in behind, and make sure you don't interfere with the rest of the traffic, and that's exactly what Matthew Gracie did there, exactly what we hope that all the back markers over the course of this race are going to do, because we want to see this battle continue. It's been fantastic so far, and on the last lap was one of the first times all race we've seen no moves made by either Bertilla or Kenzie Newhoff.
Yeah, I think the thing is you're getting out to that half a second, 6/10 mark at the moment as well. So the battles are drying up. Stu Milne is having a nice little one here with Louis Gregg, and Marcis Putnieks is not too far back either. As you can see, Stuart Milne taking that inside line now around Coeur-Pourfray down through the black of Blanchimont. They're going on board with Milne. If we go on board with Louis Gregg, just see Milne in the top right hand corner. So Milne does manage to make that through. That move through is when Louis Gregg is going to look at trying to come back at him into the bus stop, which if Milne leaves the door open, Gregg should make the move. He doesn't at the moment, but we're back on this run now all the way through, obviously, as it was last time, up through Blanchimont. Up through El Rijabadion, sorry, not Blanchimont.
Yes, they're high-speed corners at the same track, so yeah, we can hard to distinguish sometimes. No, Kenzie Newhoff is still at the front, over the top at Radion, and now Max Bartolotto will strike. He moves to the outside, and with the slipstream, it's too easy for both of them, really. I mean, we've not got DRS in the iGPFun F3 League, but if we did, we'd never see exciting overtakes ever again. They're finding it quite easy. As things stand, the slipstream very powerful in these Formula cars, of course. The benefit you get from sitting behind someone is absolutely huge, and Bartolotto's experiencing that right now. Newhoff will probably experience it on the next lap because they've been exchanging places almost every lap, and there's another one. Bartolotto now in the lead this time.
Yeah, he is here as well. Andy Flint is giving Westman a good old push here once more, and Westman is trying to get away, but Flint just can't. He just can't let him. He's got to stay here. This is why this gap between Flint and Cherry at 3.3 seconds was so massive early on as well, because of the fact that they were so close, so they were staying in the draft, which was great for everybody down to like 16th. But as soon as Suarez got in, the gap just opened up, and it did kind of become that cork, which unfortunately then led them to lose the draft. But now these four can all still get the draft, and they can all still end up any one of these 4 cars or 5 cars could end up winning this race.
Yeah, you just never know really what's going to happen. I think based on early evidence, it is between Bartolotto and Newhoff, but you're right, this could get involvement from Seitz, Vestman or Flint here, all of whom are involved. Of course, Kenzie Newhoff is our reigning champion, but Andy Flint only finished just over 60 points behind him at the end of a long season. He was in 4th in the standings as well, so this is a great start to a season for Andy Flint, and a great sort of well, not recovery, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's sort of building on last season, really. 8 top 10s he scored within it, 4 times inside the top 5 and a couple of times on the podium. Is he going to get 50% of his podiums in just this one race here this evening? I think it's a stretch for him to get on the podium at the moment, but there's still plenty of time remaining here, and plenty of slipstream to be found here on the Kemmel Straight. He'll tuck in behind. Vestman just up in front here, and he should find his way back to 4th right now. He will look to the inside on the way in towards Les Combes, as Newhoff will do the same. Newhoff stays behind for the lead. What about Andy Flint further back for 4th? He does find his way through, although Nicholas Vestman really gave that position over to him.
Look at this, 4 wide. 4 wide. Overweight, Connor Gibb, Luca Varani, Jerome Lamy and Thiago Braun. There's also another little 5-car battle here as well. Jerome Lamy just cleared Luca Varani, and Varani has unfortunately dropped down a position. Vestman now is trying to clear Andy Flint. And for Leonard Cherry, Pedro Suarez has got back in front again. So all that work Cherry did trying to get through, unfortunately for him, Suarez has got back in front, so it's going to be imperative really for these guys if they can try and get on. But we've got like there's almost groups of drivers. You know, we've got the front well, front two now, because they've opened up a second gap near enough to Sights as well, who's opened up another second to Flint. So there's gaps starting to appear here slowly on lap 9.
Yes, there are, and that is to be expected, of course, but even so, noteworthy nevertheless. Neuhoff, it's very close to the back of Bertilla here, getting slightly foxed there by the lap car, actually, who might just be giving a little bit of aero assist to Max Bertilla at the moment in his quest to keep this race lead. We're approaching the end of lap 9, we're approaching half distance in this race already, and what a race it's been so far. You get the feeling that Bertilla and Neuhoff are going to go right to the line with the battle that they're having at the moment. He's getting close again, is Neuhoff, looking for a move on the inside at La Source. That's not going to happen. Very rarely do you see a move like that taking place. He's going to look for rather the exit onto the Kemmel Straight, the run up through Rouge and Radiant, and then for the move. But what's going to happen with the lap car?
It's not moving, and that is beginning to make my fingers switch. Please remove yourself from this battle. Go left. Start slowing down, Zoranu, because at the moment there's going to be a nice little blue flag rant on the end of JPB Broadcasting here, sir. You had 2 straights previously to do that. You didn't need to wait that long. So be mindful of where you can and can't. But Pedro Suarez here with Lucas Marek, and Leonard Cherry has got back in front.
Yeah, I think he got out of the way in the last possible moment, really. Didn't slow the others down at all. He did give the slipstream to Bertilla, and since it's not the very last lap of the race, I don't think it's too imperative, really, that he was doing that, because there will still be opportunities coming up later, and the situation we're in with this race, I don't think he will have affected the outcome of this at all, but yes, it did leave it as pretty much as long as he could do. And now he's in front of Sights. Now he'll pull out the way of Greg Sights and slot into that little gap between 3rd and 4th. And then on the next straight, presumably, he'll get out of the way of Flint Investment. And then there'll be a bit of a gap back to 6th place. But yeah, just slotting into these gaps where he can find them. And yeah, leaving it till the last possible moment. Now you can see Flint is right up behind. So he can't really afford to leave it any longer. And he won't. He'll stay to the left-hand side here. It's difficult to get out of the way on the way towards Blanchimont. It's quite confusing because there's no real line through there. You're just sort of on a non-straight straight. But it does get out of the way of the two of them, and will leave the others to battle. Westman pretty close to Flint on the way towards the final chicane, but won't go for a move here.
Yeah, well, he's trying to do the right thing, which I suppose from my perspective, obviously anyone that knows, is the fair game for me, but I just think there was a little bit more time, like here, to the right-hand side, could have possibly removed himself. Jack Williams still fighting out with Robert Ridgway and Lamey. Lamey's still up behind Varani, so they've obviously swapped positions as well. The leaders are coming back together, but it just seems every time I go on them, they swap places and then they go back again. So it's a bit of a tough one here.
Yeah, it's continuing to change and change again. Look at the weaving there from Bertilla, keeping to the racing line this time, maybe handing the lead over to Kenzie Neuhoff. And on lap 11, approaching the halfway mark, Kenzie Neuhoff is back to the lead again. So now the games sort of begin. Where do you want to be going on to the final lap here? Do you want to be trailing? Do you want to be leading as you're going on to the very last lap of this race? Because that will be super important in terms of where you are in this race and where this race is going to be won, because presumably these two are not going to separate themselves until the very end. They are a class above the rest, but neither of them are particularly faster than the other. I mean, they were separated by 3 thousandths in qualifying.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Now we've started to see these little games of chess. Now, whether or not Bertilla purposely pulled over to let Neuhoff through, we don't know. It's a possibility. But at the end of the day, you know, he's got to be looking at the fact that but he can't let Neuhoff get away. He can't let him get away too far, because otherwise he's going to be in deep trouble trying to catch up with him. But at the same time, he's just got to work out where he's going to be as well, because obviously if he's got to settle in behind him and leave it to the last lap, there's always a chance you might not get it.
Yeah, you've got to be careful leaving it to the very end. But these guys are, you know, so good at what they do and so much confidence in their own skills that maybe they will do. Kenzie Neuhoff has just opened up the biggest gap we've seen for a while now on Bertilla just behind. So that's encouraging news for him, but is it enough to keep Bertilla behind? Because you don't even need to be particularly close over the line to affect a move. Let's see what happened further back to Jerome Lamy here. I think that's Luca Veroni just behind. Lamy just goes very wide and retires. So I'm not sure what's happened to him there, but unfortunately, it's just pulled to the left on the exit of the curve Paul Frere and retires from the race.
Yeah, a little bit strange, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting, when I saw him jump back to the pits, I was expecting like a big old collision upside down round the corner. But we didn't get any of that, and Max Bertilla now is slotted in here as well and going to retake the lead on lap 12. So we've still got 10 laps to go, and I'm sure there's probably another 10 places position changes over the next 10 laps.
Yep, there might well be between these two. Neuhoff still leads and will continue to around Ravage down the hill towards No Name as well now. It's a nice lead that he holds for the moment. Bertilla goes a little bit wide through No Name there. Of course, off tracks are going to be a slight concern around this circuit, but then again, never a huge one in these short races with the drivers the calibre that we have here in the iGPFun F3 League. They are absolutely fine for making it to the end without suffering from the off tracks and so on in these races. So Bertilla still now leading the way ahead of Kenzie Neuhoff. Then it's Greg Seitz in third place, but he's over a second back now, and once you've lost the slipstream, it is difficult to get back.
Yeah, it definitely is. The problem for Greg is he's now kind of tootling around on his own here, because Andy Flint isn't really making headways on him at the moment. Lucas Murray, Pedro Suarez, Tony Jimenez, they're still battling it out as well. Nick Carty and Ben Gaiotti are still fighting further down. There's a lot of people out at the moment. I think we've still got 41 cars running, with Matthew Gracie being the last one, but Tony Jimenez can see Suarez and Lucas Marek. Marek's now cleared as well. Cherry's now trying to get on his bike once more, but if I go back to the leaders, we're at this place again.
Yep. It's
rinse
feeling of deja vu, really, isn't it?
It's like rinse and repeat, isn't it? Rinse, repeat, pass.
Yeah, and it's all kind of tension building to the very end of this race as well, which we're very much looking forward to, because who knows what's going to happen right at the end. Bertilla goes over Radion there quite straight, actually, and he probably got away without a slowdown, but not ideal. Kenzie Neuhoff will get through, and it really is like deja vu. It's like we're putting on replay after replay every single lap for us to watch again and again, but no, it's past, it's happening again and again. Further back, it's a little bit more dynamic. This is Marek and Suarez side by side, and through, or staying ahead at least I should say, is Pedro Suarez in 7th place. Lucas Marek looking to gain a place there, couldn't quite do it, with Tony Jimenez right behind, nestled nicely inside the top 10 in 9th, and taken over from Will McIntyre, who's still losing places, unfortunately.
Yeah, Suarez there, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately for him, he did just get past Lucas Marek. So, yeah, Suarez did get past him there, and hopefully he might get on his way. I don't really know if it's Pedro Suarez. I don't know, he's a little bit, he confuses me sometimes, because, you know, last season we saw him have some stellar races, and then, you know, we see other things after that. Do you know what I mean? And he's a bit of an enigma.
Yeah. Yes, and
do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
yeah.
there's like no, you can never say what Suarez is going to do, because I don't even know if Suarez knows what he's going to do. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing. He had 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, no wins, but this speaks for itself. Average start was 11th, and his average finish was 22nd. Kind of speaks for itself, really, where the problem lies, doesn't it?
Oh dear, who's that? That's someone off the road there, just in front of it's Vestman, who's off the road down at the final couple of corners, and just escaped in time for those guys to come through, and fair play to him for doing that. Oh no, it was a lap car. I think it's Zoltan Zamotta who was involved there. Was it? I'm trying to see at the moment who was getting lapped there.
Car 107.
107.
Or was it 707, and it could have been Matthew Gracie?
It could be 707 of Matthew Gracie, or it could be the 007 of Alexander Betash.
Betash.
Yes, in the 007. So unfortunately, not getting out the way quite in the way that you'd want to see there, as side by side again for Lucas Marek is now finally through on Pedro Suarez, by the way, who's pushed down to 7th now. So that's a shame for Vesperman, really. I mean, in a way, he was the one making a move, and that was probably avoidable, but even so, you don't want to see a lap car parked on the apex like that, unfortunately.
No, you definitely don't. Not an ideal scenario. I don't know where Betash was in conjunction with going down through Blanchimont anyway, so I'm not entirely sure where he was in conjunction with that, because, you know, let's face it, if he's in front, he could have moved over a lot earlier or not been, I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, he's trying to run a race. It's difficult getting overtaken at the best of times anyway, Ewan, so it'd be tough for him, I think, but let's see what the wonderful stewards come up with, because, you know, as me and you both know, they do look at literally everything.
Yes, they will do, and so we will look forward to that and bring you the updates from that after this race, before the next one, I should say, when we open our broadcast for the second round of the iGPFun F3 League season. We are back, of course, for the remainder of this season. It was a pleasure to be along for the first couple, well, not the first couple, but the last couple of seasons on JPB, and so we're here for another one to round out 2023 as well, which we're very pleased about once more. So lap 15 now starts in this race. We're 2/3 of the way through, approaching a grandstand finale between those two leaders, although Kenzie Newhoff has just begun to turn on the pace here at the end. Just less than 7/10 of a second is now the gap that he has at the front of the field to Max Bartolotta in second. Greg Seitz is trying to catch them in third. Andy Flint and Leonard Sherry round out the top 5. And then there's this battle for 6th place, currently headed by Lucas Marek. But how long is that going to last for? Because at the moment, everybody's very, very close. And it's Pedro Suarez who looks the most likely to make a move here.
And there he goes. I expect him to be able to get through by the end here. However, he is on the outside. So if Marek uses his noddle, and then we've got Jimenez also getting involved once more here.
Oh no! Contact. Jimenez stays on the right. Is it off the road? Marek, it is.
Yeah.
So through the middle, Marek was being flagged on either side. Unfortunately, he's just got tipped into a spin here by Jimenez. Oh dear, and I don't think he really gave Jimenez the room there. I mean,
hold on a minute, hold on.
You don't think?
It's not that I don't think, right? Because obviously, you know me, I do love a good old opinion. Why is Jimenez trying to go 3 wide? I don't get that. And
that's a different issue, in my opinion. I mean, Marek has spun himself in my opinion there.
Or Lucas Marek, I don't know.
Yeah, he's where has he dropped to now? He's 11th.
He's a long way back now. Yeah, 11th.
He's still got a shout of a top 10 here, more than a good shout of a top 10, as long as he's not got any suspension damage, which is always the worry with that kind of contact in the F3 cars, but especially rear suspension damage, because he'll be all over the shop. But he seems to be okay, actually, given the pace that he's running at. Yeah, I mean, it was an ambitious move from Jimenez, but I think he was within his rights to go down the inside there, and 3 into 1 was never really going to go, but I think Marek was just presuming that Jimenez would back out of that eventually. The Spaniard just didn't, so Marek is the one who goes around. Jimenez continues on, and Pedro Suarez gains from it, I guess, most. He's now into 6th place. Will McIntyre-Jones also has gained from it, and for all the talking we've done about him losing places, he has actually raced decently. Not in that he's actually been overtaking anyone, but he has at least been picking up the pieces from crashes that has been going on in front of him. In the last 5 laps, he has gained 2 places as a result of just driving around.
Yeah, I didn't. If I remember correctly, didn't Will McIntyre have a race like this last season? I'm sure there was a race.
Quite often, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a race. Yeah, there was a race where he did really well in quali, and then just kind of slid back down the order. I don't know on that one, but Pedro Suarez here just lost the place to Tony Jimenez.
Yep, so that's another exchange there, and I'd imagine it will be the roles reversed in a lap's time, although we are running out of time here in this race. 6.5 to go, roughly. Right now, unfortunately, Brown is off the road at the Lecombe chicane. That is Timo Brown, who's off, I'm afraid. down at, I think it's Lecom. It was just behind these guys, and he's still not returned to the circuit. He was getting dived here by a couple, so they were side by side further behind him. And then he gets really dive bombed in towards the chicane and gets sideswiped there. That's heavy contact with the wall, and he'll be out the race as a result of that.
Who's the 18 car there? I think the who is that 18 car on the outside?
It might have been the 17 of Ridgeway. Was he involved in that battle, I think?
No. Hold on, I'm trying to find a decent 118.
Okay, 118 was
That.
Connor Gibb. So he was involved in that battle. It wasn't Ridgeway he was making contact with, it was Connor Gibb. But, yes, there we are.
Bit of a random move to the left-hand side. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it's it's a tricky one because the racing line does go to the left after all. But
You'll
you
give
also
it
can't
far
hit people.
much credit this evening. I've got to be honest, because he would have had a spotter that said car, obviously left for him. Car left, and then.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
no,
he's presuming, I think, that the car on the left is, on the racing line or on the very left, if you see what I mean, on the way in towards Malmedy, to sort of open the corner up as you would normally do. But he stayed down the middle of the road, did Brown there, and did get completely swiped, unfortunately. So I think that it might find himself in a bit of trouble for that. It will at least be looked at. But that could go either way, that for me, really. It could be a penalty, though, for Connor Gibb. We'll find out after the race, of course. Pedro Suarez looks up the inside of Tony Jimenez, decides to stay behind for the moment. No pressure from McIntyre Jones behind him, so he'll stay behind. This is a very similar situation again. Lucas Marek looking to regain some of those places, and he gains back one of them back into ninth place.
Yeah, but look at the difference. Look where Marek was to where Connor Gibb went. That's the thing. Marek stayed. He come round the outside and he put it in kind of that three-quarter middle of the circuit, where Connor Gibb just went straight left. No. I think I probably need to stay out of Stewart's booth. Let's just put it that way.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens after the race, but Connor Gibb will push on, and he's got a good chance of holding on to a top 10 anyway here. Luca Verani is just in behind, making his return, of course. Good to have him back once more. It's not quite a peak Luca Verani performance, I wouldn't say. I think he does have a bit more to give for the course of this season. But it's a nice way to start, and he could get into that top 10 place as well. Maybe even right now, Gibb going a little bit wide through Stavilo there, into the gravel, kicking up a little bit of dirt, and now he's under real pressure from Luca Verani, who's right in the slipstream behind. Looks to the inside on the way towards Planchemont. That's not going to happen for him right now. He's going to look for a move at the inside at the corner itself. That won't happen either. What about on the way towards the final chicane? No, again. There will be so stay behind just for now, maybe wait for the straight, but Lucas Marek is certainly quicker than those guys behind him. He's looking on his way to a 9th place there for me. Lucas Marek recovering after that incident earlier on at Lecom.
Yeah, Pedro Suarez now battling around with Anthony Jimenez. He's now pulled in to that dangerous slipstream area for Nuoff and Bartolotta. Bartolotta's not getting any closer at the moment. So Pedro Suarez is closer to Bartolotta that is to Nuoff. So currently, if Nuoff carries on, and he has been opening up gaps here, he could find himself comfortably in the lead by the time we get onto that crucial final lap, which is where the positioning of the car would be. Down here, we've got Marek, Gill and Verani still battling out.
Yeah, still plenty going on here in the race. It looks like Kenzie Nuoff is keeping Max Bartolotta at arm's length at the moment, and might have enough, I should say, for the win. But you just don't know at this stage. It's too early to call, really, even with 4 laps to go at the line. Nuoff may well have enough, though. So McIntyre Jones is now at the front of the group. He could very well slip outside the top 10 here, will McIntyre Jones, at the end, unfortunately. I was hoping for his sake that the start would just be a bit of a blip and he'd get stronger as the race goes on, but it hasn't really happened. He's qualified better than he's raced here, I'm afraid. And there's a queue of 4 drivers behind him now looking to maybe make up a place.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. However, I've got a comment. The Digital Apex's livery. I do like the both of them cars as they come around together. They look awesome. McIntyre Jones. I don't know, mate. Some people could just hot lap and get a good time in qualifying. You know, he is down at only 2, mind you. I think we seem to think he goes up further than he comes down, like goes down further than he comes up. He is only down 2 from where he qualified. So maybe we're being a little bit harsh on him. But I think that's because we do seem to see him go sliding backwards, which we really kind of want to see him going forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a shame, really, for him that the way this is panning out. It's not quite the form that saw him in championship contention right up until the very near end in season 2 of this year, where he was eventually put out of contention, I think, on the penultimate race, which of course left us with just Kenzie Newhoff and Lee Aberdeen, really, who could win the title in that finale at Silverstone, which was, of course, absolutely fantastic. If you weren't with us for that, that was about 3 or 4 months ago.
Bartolotta's off.
So the battle for the lead here surely now settled, and it's just a solo spin for Max Bartolotta. From second, he was about 3/4 of a second behind Kenzie Newhoff. He's dropped from second. He's all the way down in 4th now, I believe. What a disaster for Max Bartolotta. It's music to the ears of Kenzie Newhoff. It's just a simple solo spin for the driver who was running in second. Now Max Bartolotta runs in 4th, not that far in front of Leonard Cherry.
Yeah, Max got a lot of solo spins. So that is for Kenzie Newhoff like a bone is to a dog. It is unbelievably makes it happy. So Newhoff will be out in front by about 2.4 seconds. Greg Seitz, Andy Flint, and now Bartolotta and Cherry left to battle it out with McIntyre Jones still in 8th though, mind you, so he is still only down 2, and he's currently with Lucas Marek, of course, both from the Digital Apex team. So how much overtaking and how much battling we're going to see really depends on how quick, if they can get up to the back of him.
Yeah, it does, because time is not on anyone's side anymore. We are with 4 laps to go, because Kenzie Newhoff has just come over the line. Oh, there we go. So 3 laps to go now, as he crosses the line. Not long remaining, but he's just got to bring this one home as Kenzie Newhoff in the best possible start, really, to his title defence here this season. Of course, he's season 3 champion in 2023, looking to take 2 in 1 year. Is Kenzie Newhoff here this season. Lucas Marek has not got a very good run off in the final corner there, and Conor Gibb will look for that place back again. He will have a poke down the inside and possibly wait for Eau Rouge and Lecom as well, because you very rarely see moves in towards turn 1, although he didn't get a great run through turn 1 there. I think he turned it a bit too early and had to correct, so he didn't hit the inside wall there, and so Lucas Marek might get away with this. Yeah,
I think so. It depends on Conor Gibb and whether or not how much time he can pull in on him here. We're on lap 20 of 22. Gibb is going to get an opportunity here. I'm not going to lie, down into Lecom. If Marek doesn't plant it somewhere, he's going to be in trouble. Varani also could get involved in this once more. Conor Gibb is going to go up the inside of Lucas Marek. He leaves him loads of room. You know, it can be done then. And Luca Varani, unfortunately, looks like he's just taken a trip on the grass and has lost the place to Robert Ridgway, as there's another bunch of big puff of smoke from Conor Gibb further up, which we've just seen there as well. So it's getting a little bit tighter down in this midfield section here once more. And McIntyre Jones 1.1 seconds ahead of Conor Gibb. So he might survive. He might survive.
Maybe, especially if they battle behind even more fiercely, then he almost certainly will. But let's see if he can. He does have those couple of car lengths that may prove crucial by the end here. It's the highest battling position, if you like. The other places are pretty settled. Even Bartolotta has picked up the pace again and is holding on to 4th quite nicely for the moment. So this is by far the closest group, as Luca Varani and Zach Williams are changing places, because I think Varani's gone off he has at Stabilo, I think it would have been. He's gone off, and it was, well, this is a bit earlier. Oh dear. Very similar thing happened to him to what happened to Brown earlier on. And who was that he was tapped by then?
That was one of the Digital Apex boys.
It was, yeah.
Marek, there.
might have been Marek.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was, because Vrani's now off, so Lucas Marek. But yeah, one of the digital Apex boys. But then again, I'm also seeing a gap between both cars, so it's possible there may not have been any form of contact.
Yeah, it's that's true as well. Actually, it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
Penultimate lap. Penultimate lap it is then. Here at Spa, the opening round of the iGPFun F3 League here for Season 4 in 2023. Kenzie Newhoff still leads by nearly 2 seconds ahead of Greg Seitz. We're watching the battle for 9th place since it's by far the closest inside the top 10. Connor Gibb trying to hold on to a place ahead of Lucas Marek. Gibb using the slipstream of McIntyre Jones to the best he can, but it's not enough to hold Marek back. Down the inside he goes at the corner where he spun off earlier on in the race, preventing him from being inside or further inside the top 10 as he was earlier on, even knocking on the door of a top 5 was Marek, but it's going to have to be top 10 for now. Maybe 9th is all he can manage. Connor Gibb holds on to that position at the moment, just ahead of Marek. It's going to have to be on the last lap for the Canadian if he wants to go through.
Yeah, Reno Scattini looks like he may have just had a moment. I'm also seeing Scattini and Silito making contact, so I've got a funny feeling this is them together here with Reno Scattini. He's gone round. Silito tries to stop the car, and unfortunately, he goes round as well. So, a bit unlucky for Silito. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Scattini's gone off 2 more times, mind you, but if he's left his front wing halfway around the track, he's not going to have much front end grip. So, probably, yes, Scattini has gone into the pit lane.
Yep, unfortunate for him, of course. He's been there for the last couple of seasons now, but not the good start to the season that he will have wanted. In fact, I can tell you that nearly 20 drivers have been into the pit lane over the course of today's race. Scattini is going to be one of those who will score points, and I think the top 38 are all going to score points from this race here. Is Betas got? Yeah, he's circulating. Only just over a lap down actually, so he will be classified and he will get points. You can only drop 2 laps down here, by the way. 3 laps down, and I think you wouldn't be classified anymore. Such is the lack of laps that you get around this very long racetrack. Now we're moving towards turn 1. This is pretty odd to see, but Lucas Marek has decided that Lecom wasn't working for him. He's gone for La Source instead, but surely this means that Connor Gibbs just going to come back at him in about 10 seconds' time.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm not quite sure why you would give up Kemmel like Marek has done, unless Marek's going to literally be hugging the white line tighter than my daughter cuddling her ear, or I'm not going to lie, because otherwise he's going to be under pressure, and he is under pressure. That I didn't get. I'm not going to lie, Lucas. I'm sure there's a valid reason there, but I didn't quite understand that move. I know the door was open, but do you ever think maybe Connor Gibb might have set you up there for that? So it's a possibility. It's something I would do. Go through, son. I'll get you on the next one.
Yes, it's well,
I think that may have just been smart driving, Ewan, I've got to be honest.
I think Marek, what he might be thinking is, can I go for this at the final chicane? But yes, I don't know why he didn't just wait, to be honest. I think it would have been a better idea, but he is in the car after all. We are not, and so we'll have to find out what happens. Gibbs got very wide there as well, so there might be a chance a little bit earlier on in the lap as well. But Kenzie Newhoff is making his way towards the final chicane now. And there's a bit wide from Marek. I think he's going to be too far away now, to be honest, to make that move for 9th place. Kenzie Newhoff is certainly not too far away though to make this work. It's going to be a dream start to his title defence for Kenzie Newhoff as he makes his way out of the final corner to win round 1 here at Spa. The full 43 points go to him, a feeling he has felt on many occasions in this league in the past, with the fastest lap on the last lap to go with it. He wins just ahead of Greg Seitz and Andy Flint, who will join him on the podium. Max Bartolotta's late spin denying him the chance of going for that win. We thought he would have the opportunity to. Now Lucas Marek, what can you do? Oh no, he's gone for a spin. He tries to go for 9th at the very end and ends up throwing away his top 10 entirely. He's going to fall way down the order now. He might be outside the top 20, although Mostis Putniks is a long way back actually, so he will finish 16th, Will Marek. He gave it everything. He did go for it at the final chicane. It turned out not to be the right call.
Yeah, I don't think this would have been the right call in general. Look how far back he is as well. I don't even think he went for it. I think he just spun it, trying to hold the position. The problem is he goes to go there and he can't because Williams and Varani. Then he's just kind of stuck. Now he just turns into Bottas cutting grass and away he goes. So, yeah, tough. Last lap, last corner. I'm sorry, it's always tough, isn't it, really? Let's be real.
Yep, and that was a bizarre one, really, because as you say, he didn't really go for the move, but he still span around anyway, so that's a bizarre one. Christian Glabsitter, by the way, crosses the line in 34th at the moment. That's not a good start to his season, but he does get 10 points for his troubles, so they may help him a little bit later on. Maybe they'll just end up being drop round points by the end of the season. We'll have to wait and find out, of course, because we do have 2 drop rounds in this league over the course of the 12-race season. Helps keep things very close, as we've experienced over the course of the previous season, even though James doesn't like drop weeks.
No, I don't, because it's complicated.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an actual sporting hatred of it. It's just a complicating thing for us.
Yeah.
Because we've got to work things out. But we won't be factoring in those drop weeks until at least the halfway mark in this season, if not a little bit further than that. So don't worry yourselves about that in the near future. I think we're still waiting for people to come over the line, aren't we?
I think they've literally just finished, so there you go.
I've just finished now. Okay. I was going to say, it's a very long lap around here, and sometimes it takes them a very long time to complete the race. Kenzie Newhoff finished a long time ago, though. He's the winner at the end of 22 laps, and he's 2.2 seconds ahead of Greg Seitz and Andy Flint, who join him on the podium. Max Bortolotto's late spin shoves him down to 4th. Leonard Sherry inside the top 5 on the opening round of the season, just ahead of Tony Jimenez, who was catching towards the end there. Pedro Suarez ended the race on his own in 7th, ahead of Will McIntyre-Jones, who held off the likes of Conor Gibb, and Robert Ridgway, who jumped inside the top 10 at the very end. Zach Williams just misses out on that top 10 in 11th. Luca Varani 12th at the end of that race, just ahead of Adam Towsma, Stuart Milne and Evan Way to round out the top 15. Next up, it was Lucas Marek, who recovered from that last corner spin. Moses Putniks held off Louis Gregg at the end there, ahead of Edward Amos and Vladislav Potapenko, who rounded out the top 20. Koji Ito finished 23rd, ahead of Ben Goyette. Then it was Nick Carty, Chuck Morrow and Garrett Spence to round out a very American top 25. John McKenzie finished over a minute back in 26th, ahead of Paolo Brim. Then it was Alex Hopkins, Jose Arroyo and Giovanni Solito to round out the top 30. Dorian Arroyo is in 31st. Don't think those two are any relation, by the way, Dorian and Jose.
I don't know. It might be.
They've just got the same last name, but we'll have to find that one out.
They are from different countries.
Exactly, that's what's making me doubt it, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Patrick Rowland's 32nd, ahead of Rinus Coutinho with that pit stop, and Christian Glamsheater, who recovered to 34th. One lap down was Zoltan Zamotta, who had a lot of blue flags throughout that race. So did Ivan Zurinel, as we saw. Matthew Gracie the same. Alexander Betash finished 38th, and Timo O'Brien did actually get out at the end of that race to still score some points. He'll get 5 for his troubles there. Nicholas Vestman won't, after being taken out of the final corner. Samuel Marr finished 9 laps down along with him. Jerome Lamy just pulled off to the side of the road and retired earlier on. Clark Williams finished 43rd, which is the last point paying position, but they're too many laps down to score those points. Marcelo Kessler, Maximilian Gebhardt, Simon Fessi all retired after the opening lap incidents, or at least early on in that race, down to 46th. And Matt Brewer, Manuel Vargas and Stephen Ridders failed to even complete a lap of that race. Well, it was a good start to the season. We've very much had an enjoyable time of things. 22 laps around here at Spa. Not quite the grandstand finish for the lead that we're expecting. Kenzie Newhoff in the end winning by just over 2 seconds. But it was a very good race and a good start to a new season.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. I think if this is... The thing is it's really tough as well, right? Because this is probably one of the longest circuits we've got to go to this season. And at the end of the day, you know, with some of the tracks that are coming up as the season goes on, I think it's going to be a really interesting one. You know, it's always going to be tough, but I think Spa is probably tougher than most tracks. And it's not something that people would necessarily want to open up the account with, but it is what, unfortunately, following that official line. So it's definitely going to be an interesting season. I think overall, it could get really exciting. You know, Suzuka next week. We've got Bathurst, Road Atlanta, Red Bull Ring, Aragon, Virginia, Montreal, Sebring, Detroit, Laguna Seca, and finish at Watkins Glen. So really, bar Suzuka, bar first maybe, the rest of the tracks are a lot shorter. So I'm expecting it to be good, close racing. Not, to be honest, the IGP ever disappoints. We always see it anyway.
Yes, we do. No matter what the circuit, we always see fantastic racing in this league and expect it to continue. We'll have the whole season live on JPB, of course, so make sure you subscribe and check out the other racing that goes on throughout the season, because there's plenty going on here every single night of the week. Make sure you join us again next week, though, as we go racing at Suzuka. For now, we'll bid our farewell. So I've been Ewan Leary alongside James Parfitt here, and until we see you in 1 week's time for round 2 of the iGPFun F3 League for Season 4 in 2023, it's goodbye for now.